Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. Today's show is all about Vic Fangio replacements. I've got 10 new-ish. We got some new names, some older names. I've done about 2 videos on this last couple months now. So we're going to go through the whole list here because the reason why I'm having this conversation today is the Broncos are going in circles. We've seen this team have phenomenal defensive performances with a bunch of backups and understudies, but despite all that, the offense just cannot get it going. So at some point, you have to look at Vic Fangio and go, yeah, you can build a great defense. No doubt about that. Phenomenal defensive coordinator. But a change is needed because we're just seeing the same stagnant offense in year 3. And it's been 3 years and no playoff appearances. And we're on the cusp of the longest playoff drought since the 70s or 80s for the Broncos. So we got to shake things up a little. So here are my list. We'll start with number 10. It's a bit of a fun name, right? Jim Harbaugh. Here's the thing with good old Jimmy in Ann Arbor. He's gotten some interest in NFL circles of luring him back to the NFL out of college, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen for the Broncos. If he were to go back, I think it might be a team that he has some connection to, like the Chicago Bears. He played there during his career, but he just beat Ohio State. He's got his team in the playoff, the college football playoff right now. I don't see him leaving that right now to be an NFL coach. Number 9, Dennis Allen. Now we get a real name-ish. But the thing with Allen, he does have some head coaching experience. So he was the Raiders coach. It didn't work out very well. Went to rehab with Sean Payton, and he's done a phenomenal job with their defense. So that's why I've got Dennis Allen at number 9 for me on my list. Number 8 is Todd Bowles, a former head coach of the New York Jets, where I thought he got to get the raw end of the deal. He had that Jets team 10-6, missed the playoffs, one of those unlucky 10-win but no cigar kind of playoff seasons, but he's been great in Tampa Bay. He's got this Bucs defense humming. They got them to a Super Bowl. So I like Bowles, and we'll get to the rest of the list, and we'll get into more detail for numbers 6 through 1. But before we get to number 5, I want to pose this question to you. Oh, number 7, sorry. What should the Broncos do with head coach Vic Fangio? Do you think they should fire Fangio, or do they should keep Fangio? I can kind of entertain keeping Fangio if you go out and you trade for Wilson or Rodgers, let him and a better offensive coordinator, because Pat Shurmur's got to go. You let those guys run the offense, and you let good old Vic run the defense, kind of like a baseball GM and overlook everything else. FF for fire Fangio, or KF for keep Fangio. Number 7 on my list, it is Eric Bienemy. This name is tough to evaluate for a couple reasons. One, he's got some skeletons in his closet. I'm not going to air it out on the show. You guys can go on Wikipedia yourself. But he's been great with the Chiefs, right? He's got those Chiefs off. I'm not going to, jerk off the Chiefs too much, but we know how great the Chiefs have been the last couple of years. But the tough thing is, I don't know if the Chiefs would grant Bienemy permission in the playoffs to talk to the Broncos, which would need to happen. And the Chiefs' offense has kind of stuttered this season. They haven't really been themselves at times, which has probably hurt Bienemy chances of being a head coach. So that's why I got him at number 7. But the top 6 right now. Number 6 for me, I said newish names. Here's a new name. Brian Callahan, the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, who I've seen in some Twitter threads and some NFL buzz that he's been a popular name for the head coaching carousel search. He's worked well with some very successful quarterbacks. I'll show you that list in a little bit. The con for him, though, we got a compliment sandwich going on. He does not call the plays for the Bengals. Zach Taylor, the head coach, does. So do you really want to bring an offensive guy who doesn't have play calling experience? That's not really the trend the NFL is going in. But the last pro for him, he was coaching with Denver in a variety of ways from 2010 to 2015. That's actually where he got his NFL start. So that's number 6 for me. But I've given you 6 names now. Math, I've given you 5 names at this point. Who do you want the next head coach to be for the Broncos? Let me know what you're thinking. This will be the pinned comment. So if a YouTube ad break hits you, scroll on down, reply with who you want it to be, and I'll give you more of my takes in just a moment. QBs, though, going back to Brian Callahan. He's worked with Peyton Manning. He's worked with the Sheriff. Matthew Stafford is the QB coach for in Detroit. He was the QB coach in Oakland at the time for Derek Carr. You can kind of take that what you will. And then Joe Burrow most recently, who has been one of the best quarterbacks this season in the NFL, especially coming off that horrible injury he sustained in his rookie season. So Callahan's got experience with some top-level guys. I mean, 2 great quarterbacks, a Hall of Fame quarterback, a great quarterback, a good quarterback, and an up-and-coming quarterback. So he's kind of put his foot in a bunch of different ponds in terms of quarterbacks. On to number 5, though, Byron Leftwich. This one is up and down here. The thing with Byron Leftwich is it's tough to really know what you have in a guy that's been the offensive coordinator for Tom Brady. Back to the compliment sandwich, he's been the Bucs OC since 2019, so that includes an overlap with Tom Brady. But the con is it all Brady or is it a little bit of both, right? Where do you spread the wealth and the love between these two in terms of success for this Buccaneers offense? The last pro, he fits the bill of young and offensive-minded. And that's the direction the NFL seems to be going for coaching carousels is, are you young? Check. Do you know offense? Check. You're hired. But he also has only been coaching since 2017. That's very young. That's a little bit like Vance Joseph young, and I would like to think the Broncos learned their lesson from that. The offseason is going to be fun for Denver, whether it's Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, or next head coaching carousel talk for Denver. We're going to have it all here at the channel, so hit that big red button, subscribe. That way, you're getting Broncos content all year long, and also, you at least give your chance the option to watch a video. If you see a video come across your feed that you're not interested in, scroll on by, no biggie. I won't cry too much, but at least this way you get some eyeballs on it, and you can check out the latest Russell Wilson trade rumors, Aaron Rodgers talk, whoever Denver's going to go after, whether it's in the draft, free agency, or trade, to be the next quarterback in 2022. Like I said, though, for going back to Byron Leftwich, he's only been coaching since 2017. He started with the Cardinals. He was a former first-round pick. Didn't really work out in his NFL career, but it seems a little too early for me to jump in this pool of Byron Leftwich. That's why I've got him kind of hanging back and not towards the top of my list. But at the end of the day, when you're the offensive coordinator for one of the best offenses in the NFL, you get some love. Number 4 on my list, and now you get to see where they all ranked, by the way, in my last Vic Fangio replacements video. Callahan was not ranked. Byron Leftwich was not ranked. By not ranked, it means top 6. Dan Quinn was 5th, so he moved up a spot. And good old DQ, he's been doing some good things in Dallas, all right? He's been helping this Dallas defense turn around completely, and he looks badass with a backwards hat on. I want you all to see that. I got the picture right there. If he rocks that backwards hat, I don't know how he's not going to win a Super Bowl in the near future. But the con for him, he went 14-23 in his last couple days and weeks in Atlanta. It was not a pretty departure, because when are they really? After a huge start to his career in Atlanta, where he took the Falcons to the Super Bowl in his second season, and he had Matt Ryan as an MVP. So Quinn, despite being a defensive-minded guy, he has shown he can manage an offense pretty well. In fact, he had the Falcons offense with 28 points in the Super Bowl. You guys know how that ended. We'll get to the rest of my list in just a moment, but head on over to BetUS. Our sportsbook partner has great deals going all year long, and you can get a 125% deposit bonus. Now listen, I get it. The NFL season is wrapping up, but let's say you want to bet on the Nuggets, or maybe it's the Avalanche, whatever team you fall in the NBA, the NHL. We're not doing MLS, Coop. I got my producer Coop in my ear saying, what about soccer? No, I'm not doing betting on MLS. Just go to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Broncos125. Put in $100. Now you got $225 to play with. Now the countdown. Number 3, Nathaniel Hackett. I had him second last time. He falls back a little bit. He is the offensive coordinator for the Packers, and I like the guy, but there's a reason why I had him fall a little bit from number 2 to number 3. But first, his compliment sandwich. He is looked at as working well with quarterbacks, like Aaron Rodgers, for example, and he's a bit of a player's coach. So that's also a big pro. You're seeing the direction that people are going in. Con for him, though, is after Byron Leftwich with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers offense, he's got the easiest job in the NFL. He just has to show up and not screw it up pretty much. When you work with Aaron Rodgers and you don't even call the plays, you just got to be a nice guy, have a nice smile, good firm handshake, maybe pick up some water bottles after the game, and you're going to stick around. But the big pro for him is if the Packers eventually have to move on from Rodgers, if those trade talks really come to life after the fallout they had this past offseason, would Rodgers go, hey, Hackett, let's team together, let's go to Mile High, and let's win some Soupies in Denver? But I want to ask this question to you. We've seen some offensive-minded guys, and we've seen some defensive-minded guys. What kind of coach would you want? Give me an O for offense or a D for defense. I get it. Offense is the humming. It's the popular trend right now. But maybe there's something to when everyone's zigging, you zag. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Number 2 on my list is Kellen Moore. I have him swapping right there. You saw my last Fangio replacements. He was 3. Now he moves up to 2 because he kind of rolls with the Cowboys. And right now the Cowboys are rolling because they just destroyed Washington on Sunday Night Football. And you get to move up a spot when you get to do that, Kellen. So the pro for him, biggest one, he fits the bill again of young and offensive-minded. He is 33 right now, pushing 34. He's hardly 34. But the con again is that the Cowboys offense has had some ups and downs this year. And they had a month-and-a-half stretch where Kellen Moore was not the popular name in the NFL coaching circles because Dak Prescott and the boys were not moving up and down the field like they once did. The big pro for Kellen Moore, though, is that he is loved across the NFL. For whatever reason, everyone is needing to change their pants after they talk about Kellen Moore because he is that popular in coaching circles. And I, for one, don't exactly get it. Now, don't get me wrong. The Cowboys' offense in yards right now is number 1. When Dak Prescott went down last year, they were close to the top, and they ended up finishing still in the top half of the league. He has his Cowboys' offense doing phenomenal things. But he also has Dak Prescott. When Zeke's good, Zeke. And a great wide receiver core of Cooper, Lamb, Gallup, Wilson. A lot of great players and pieces in Dallas. So Moore goes with the Cowboys. When the Cowboys are doing great, Moore is the hottest name. When the Cowboys are down a little bit, he slips a little bit. Number 1 on my list, though, Brian Daboll. He was number 1 last time. I'm all in on this guy. I would like to see Brian Daboll be the next head coach of the Denver Broncos if GM George Paton decides to move on from Fangio. So Daboll, he can work well with a rookie quarterback. Look what he's done with Josh Allen. The Broncos have 5 picks in the top 100 of the 2022 NFL Draft. They can easily spend one of those on a quarterback, and I, for one, am all about that. If you're going to draft a quarterback, then you better get someone who's got some talent and some history of working with rookie quarterbacks. Now, the thing with Daboll is this Buffalo team has been a little underwhelming this year. They were a little while on the cusp of not making the playoffs, sort of, just kind of teetering on the line. But I don't know if it's all on the offense. And the big pro for him is he's offensive-minded, so you get to check that box. But he's experienced too. And I like that. I like the combination of the two. Everyone's chasing the next Sean McVay. How about an offensive guy that's got some experience, okay? He worked with Saban and Belichick. But look at the Bills' offense under Daboll since getting there. In 2018, not good. But you can see the progression and the overall trend in the green and going up. And this year, he's got him 6th in total yards and 3rd in scoring. This Bills offense under Daboll the last 2 years has seen dramatic improvements, and you've seen Josh Allen be an MVP caliber quarterback. And you got to give some credit to Brian Daboll, and he has turned this offense around, no doubt about it. So that's why I wouldn't mind running through that list. I wouldn't mind running with that guy. We're going to run through the whole list again in case you missed it. That way we'll see all the names one more time. And you can comment below which name you'd like to see the Broncos' next head coach to be, because here at Chat Sports, we are all about interaction. I want to get your takes and see what you guys are thinking. And so here it is, 10 through 7, Harbaugh, Allen, Bowles. So I got 2 DCs, a fun college head coach, Eric Bienemy from the Chefs, and then number 6 through 1, Callahan, the OC from the Bengals, Leftwich with the Bucks, Dan Quinn, maybe the nicest defensive name on the list or in all the lists right now, and then 3 through 1, Hackett, the Packers OC, Kellen Moore, the OC with the boys, and then my favorite one out there, Brian Daboll, the OC with the Bills. We'll see you later here on the Broncos Breakdown.